Hey everybody, Liam McHugh back with you. Hope you're enjoying this look back at Super Bowl 23. I'm thrilled right now to be joined by 49ers legend, the Hall of Famer, Jerry Rice. Jerry, thanks so much for doing this. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Let me take you back, start of the game. Third play, in fact, Steve Wallace goes down, done for the game. How big of a loss, how difficult for your team to adjust?
Well, Steve Wallace, he was like that anchor for that offensive line. And when you see a guy go down like that, it's sort of, you think about it for a second, you hope that that person is okay, but then you got to refocus because it's the next guy in line. So that was the thing for the San Francisco 49ers for so many years. It was always the next guy in line. And we had someone that was able to come in and anchor down and get the job done.
You know, early on in the game, they suffered a big loss as well. Tim Crumry, he gets injured. Does that sort of even things out? Because, I mean, he seems to be the anchor of their defensive line.
No, it sort of put like a bad mood on the Super Bowl. You hate for players to go down because you want everyone to be at their best. You know, that's the purpose of winning that trophy. You want everyone at their best. And, we lost a key player, and also the Cincinnati Bengals, they did the same. And we just had to refocus, man, and somehow win it for that individual.
You talk about players being at their best, and you look at the end of the game, the box score, your numbers. Hard to believe that you were not at your best. Did you have a sore ankle leading up to that? Because there was some talk of sore ankle. Then there was also some talk of the hoax of a sore ankle. So what's the truth?
I had a sore ankle the entire season. And it just kept nagging me. And, I tried not to let this, people see like the anguish on my face. I had to fight through some adversity. I had to perform at a very high level. I didn't want to put my team in a position where, if I was on the football field, I was not going to be able to benefit them or give 100%. So that was something I fought all season long. Going into the Super Bowl, I think Bill Walsh, he hyped it up just a little bit more. And I'm like, Bill, what are you doing? Why are you bringing more attention to my ankle? Because what happens when guys know that you have an injury, they're gonna go after that injury. So, Bill sort of hyped it up just a little bit more.
Yeah, all of a sudden guys are tackling right down by your feet.
Yes, exactly. And I didn't want that.
Thanks for the target, Bill. All right. Well, maybe you'll run a little faster in the game. You look at this team, obviously you have Bill Walsh, you have championship pedigree with Joe Montana. Your first Super Bowl, though. So personally for you, what was the buildup like for this game?
Oh my God. I was terrified to death, because your first one, you want to do everything right. You want to put your team in a position to win. You don't want to let anyone down. You don't want to let the fans down, the coaches down, your family back home, your family at the game. So there's a lot of pressure, going into that ball game. But I think it was all about the preparation, the way I prepared during the week. I got myself ready the night before the Super Bowl. I visualized everything that was going to happen during that football game. After taking those repetitions during the week, I knew exactly everything that was going to happen. And I'm up playing the game in my head the night before. Couldn't sleep at all. So I get up the next morning, and of course I can't eat breakfast. That was something I could never do, because I have those butterflies. Everything meant something to me. Every game meant something to me. So I couldn't eat. And the game is not till late on that evening. So I went all day without eating, and then and plus I was up all night long. Then I go to the stadium and I put my uniform on and I decide to like relax on this table just for a little bit, because I always went over on the first bus, went to sleep on the table. I could hear my teammates.
On purpose or
no? I
Yeah.
guess I was just, after playing the game over and over the night before, I was exhausted. I needed to get some rest, but I think I was prepared the right way. I knew exactly what I had to do. At that moment, I could just, relax a little bit, re-energize myself. I could hear my teammates walking by, and they were like, Jerry, what is going on? This is the Super Bowl, and you're asleep right now? Are you serious? But yeah, I think I was just ready to go.
Yeah, it's one thing to be calm and cool and loose. It's another thing to be sleeping directly.
I know. I don't know. It just hit me. Just hit me. I couldn't control it.
You do get out there and you get on the field, and let's face it, I mean, it's a spotlight unlike any other. So I imagine first Super Bowl, still some nerves at the start of the game. When did those butterflies and those nerves go away?
They never do. They never did. And for every Super Bowl, every game that I played with, I played the game as if I was going to lose it. Every game meant something to me. And I never let that guard down. I never got content or anything like that. Maybe it's like my compulsive nature or something like that, to always want to be my best, each and every ball game. But no, I never, the butterflies never left me. And until those final seconds ticked off the clock, then I knew that we had won.
So you're at halftime, but I'll take you back to the build-up to the game where Bill Walsh is quoted as saying, "I see two well-conceived offenses putting up a high-level show." I mean, that seemed to be the consensus, don't you think? But then we get to halftime. It's 3-3.
Yeah.
Explain what wasn't working for you guys.
Well, I think it was just that we were not finishing. We moved the ball. We got down in their territory. Then we just didn't capitalize on getting the ball into the end zone, and it just kept going back and forth. And we thought it was going to be a very high-scoring game. You got two potent offenses, and you expect to put big numbers up on the board. It didn't happen that way. It turned out to be a defensive game. Now you have to adjust. You got to go in at halftime. You got to look at the board and see what you did right and see what you're doing wrong. You got to make corrections. Then you come back and you have to make something happen.
So how was that communicated at halftime? I mean, how would you describe what the locker room was like? Was this business? Was this, was there a level of energy, or was there a calm focus?
It's a combination of everything. Very business, very calm. You know exactly, what you have to do. Each individual group just look at themselves and try to do whatever they can do better. You don't point any fingers or anything like that, and feel like, hey, look, the game is 0-0 after coming out after halftime, and say, hey, look, we got to get this done.
Who spoke at halftime?
I think it was a combination. Bill Walsh pretty much did everything. He talked, he said what he had to say, but the players, you look at your teammates, they're still in that ball game. Just the focus of the attention to detail, the calmness, the belief that we can get it done. No one got up and freaked out or anything like that, lost their composure. And we knew that we were a good football team. We knew that we could get the job done. That was the bottom line.
We just watched him tie the game up early in the fourth quarter. But, Jerry, we're going to go back. The play before this one, Montana looking to the end zone, trying to find John Taylor. Lewis Phillips undercuts him. Should have intercepted this football. Bengals fans living with this play forever. Bengals players said after that play, there was a sense of dread because there was this idea that, Montana made a mistake. He probably is not going to make another one. You guys move on quickly. You score the next touchdown. Talk to me about the momentum shift in those moments.
Well, and I'm the type of guy, I have to own up. I didn't do my job on that play, to be honest with you. And going back looking at that film, my job is to make sure I clear out for John Taylor. And when I was coming across, I felt like it was a hole that was in that area, and I slowed down just a little bit instead of clearing. And I think Joe, he was reading one thing, and I was reading something else, because normally Joe would give me that football. But that was a bad read on my part. I think the defensive back, he gave us one. He really did. It could have went either way. And I made sure on the next play, the opportunity that I got, I scored. And I think that really gave my team the momentum. But man, whenever I go back and I see that play, because I'm one of those guys, I feel like I have to do my job. And I have to do it the right way. And that one just sort of just stayed in my gut for a long, long time, because you got to think, if he had intercepted that ball, we might have not won that football game. And I never wanted I never wanted to have that over my head. So, they gave us one. We were able to capitalize off it and score a touchdown.
If it stays in your gut, and it still has to this point, you can imagine how it feels for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm glad we won. I'm sorry, Cincinnati.
Well, at this point in the game, you have the touchdown, you tie the game, you're putting up big numbers. I think you already have over 120 yards, 7 catches, but you're far from done. You're going to put up even more yards. At this point, are you at a point where you're in a zone? You believe that no matter what, you can be open, and even if you're not open, you're open?
I think the thing is, it's like, after doing the reps during the week, I know the plays where I'm going to have opportunities. And if they give me something different, then I think I'm smart enough where I can make adjustments, because I have to be just like the quarterback. I have to be able to break the huddle, know exactly what the defense is doing to me. If it's man-to-man, I know I just got to beat that man. If it's zone, I got to sit down in the hole. So it's like, I knew exactly what the opportunities that I would have. And all during the week, this is the thing about me. When the coaches are putting in plays, if I execute those plays during the week, during practice, they're going to put it in the game plan. So I have to work hard during the week, because I want those plays to be in the game plan. And if it's executed well during the week, then it's going to become part of the game.
All right, so what happens during the week? If you're doing it well, it goes into that game plan.
Yes.
During the game, you know what's working within the game. How much communication is going back and forth between you and Montana during a game like this?
This is the weirdest thing, and I have to tell you this. We don't do much talking. It's eye-to-eye contact. It's repetition. It's doing things over and over during the week. He could read my body language. I could read his body language. So then we didn't have to voice anything. We could just look at each other. And when I came to the line of scrimmage, if I saw man-to-man, I knew that he was going to, put the ball in a position where I could score.
That's an incredible, incredible level of chemistry at that point, where you just
And I joke around about this all the time. I said, if Joe was a female, we probably would have dated. They had such great chemistry.
Listen, it was one of the most amazing partnerships ever. And we see it throughout this game, and certainly we see it late in the fourth quarter of this game. This becomes, in my opinion, one of the best fourth quarters in Super Bowl history. It's tight, it's tense. At this point in your career, how comfortable were you in those tight, tense moments?
Man, the 2-minute drill. You have to be at your best. And it happens during the week. We would, on Thursdays, right towards the end of practice, we had the 2-minute drill. When everyone is tired, and now you have to be at your best. And we felt like we had time on the clock, and that we could move the ball all the way downfield and win that Super Bowl. And plus, we had the greatest quarterback ever, behind center. So it was just time to shine.
You mentioned greatest quarterback ever behind center. During that season, we did see some of Steve Young. Do you think, to Joe Montana, there was any inkling, any thought in his head that this was a, I'm going to prove it again type Super Bowl?
I think as professional players, we always feel like we have to prove ourselves. And it was the perfect opportunity for Joe to shine and also to send a message, that, hey, look, I still got a lot of football in me and I'm not going anywhere. It was the same thing for me throughout my career because I knew you had younger guys coming in and they wanted your job. But that's what you wanted. You wanted that competition that was going to push you to be better. And we had that with the San Francisco 49ers.
You win your first of 3 Super Bowls. You take home Super Bowl MVP, massive numbers, 11 catches, 215 yards. Take me on the field right after this game. Describe your emotion.
Oh, my God, it was crazy. My teammates, they're chasing me. They're trying to celebrate with me. They can't catch me. I couldn't believe after everything that I had went through the night before, staying up all night long, then going to the stadium early, falling asleep, then winning the Super Bowl, doing all that. And I still had all of this energy after the ball game where my teammates couldn't catch me. But yeah, it was like, wow, this is really amazing. This is something I have always, thought about. Playing on the big stage, 2 of the greatest teams to ever do it, and to win my first Super Bowl is something I'll never forget.
Okay, fourth quarter, Cincinnati goes on that long clock-eating drive. They kick the go-ahead field goal. You're on the sideline. You're watching that drive. You see the field goal happen. You're thinking, what?
It's time to go. It's time to be the best that you can be right now. Every play is going to be an important play. One mistake, ball game is over. And like I said, the 2-minute drill is something we practice every Thursday when everybody's tired. And we have to dig deep and make plays. And I think we took a lot of pride in that, and we were able to make the plays that we needed to play with, about 3 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock.
And you overcome a couple of penalties because you have a penalty on the ensuing kickoff, right? So 49ers are now own 8-yard line, 92 yards away. We talked about it, 3 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock. You trot on the field. And then here's where the legend of Joe Cool grows.
Yes.
What does he say to you guys at that point?
I remember running onto the field and everything slowed down. It was like slow motion. It's like being in that zone. Every play counts. You know what you have to do. And you know that you got the players to get the job done. Joe, doing a 2-minute drill, he came into the huddle. He squatted down. He's going to call out 2 plays. Now, someone said something about John Candy being in the stands when Joe came in the huddle, but I had my blinders on. And I was just focused on, just making every play that I could make. And Joe squatted down. He called the 2 plays. Then after that, complete quietness. I did not hear the crowd. I remember we broke the huddle, and after that, everything just started to happen. And we moving at a tempo that is very fast. So you got to be able to comprehend fast, and you got to know where to line up, and you got to know if the ball is in your area, you got to make that catch. And you got to secure the ball. You can't fumble or anything like that. So we had to move the ball over, I think it was 92 yards, and win that Super Bowl.
You're blocking everything out. So the legend, of course, is that Joe Montana trots into the huddle and references after John Candy being in the stands, because that's, you can notice that and still handle the 2-minute drill. And I love that it's completely wasted on you because you are blocking all this out.
No, you know what? I guess maybe because I'm a young guy and I'm like, okay, why are you talking about John Candy right now? John Candy is not important to me right now. It's about winning this Super Bowl 23. But I think Joe, he was that type of quarterback where he just wanted to take that pressure away from everybody by just saying that. Once he did that, then you had some guys to chuckle and say, hey, hey, we got the best quarterback to ever play the game. And let's go get this job done.
Take you inside this drive right now. Several Bengals have said that the biggest play came from you, and this was right after you guys had the ineligible receiver penalty, knocked your team back to their 45, just over a minute remaining. Montana hits you over the middle. That's for about 13. Then you run for about 13, 14 more yards. How precise does that play need to be for it to actually work?
Well, it has to be really precise because my job is to try to get about 20 yards and square it across the middle. But it was man-to-man coverage, and I had a defensive back right up in front of me. So, I have to have a clock in my head to know that if I get held up off the line of scrimmage just a little bit more, instead of getting 20 yards, I'm probably going to have to get 15 yards because Joe is ready to deliver the football. So I remember, getting held up just a little bit. Then I broke it across the middle. The ball was in a position where I could really make the catch. The ball slowed down. I could see the front of the ball. I could see the rotation, everything. And once I made the catch, now it's just like I'm a little kid on a playground. I'm not going to go down. I'm looking to make the big play. And this is something that I have done every day during the week. I know that, that I could make the catch. I could do something with it. And I almost scored. And it was best that I didn't score because if I had scored early, that would have given the ball back to Cincinnati, where that might have gave them the opportunity where they could move the ball downfield and score.
That is borderline superhuman. I have 2 young sons, and I want to tell them that, hey, you can grow up, you can do whatever you want. I don't know that they'll be able to see the point of the football and notice the rotation of it with 2 defenders on them as they're running as fast as they can, helmet on. The ball's being thrown as hard as Joe Montana can throw it. That's unreal. I mean,
but that's something that you sort of get or you learn by practicing repetition over and over, getting to know your quarterback. I can't think about what's going to happen if someone is going to hit me or whatever. My main focus is when that ball is coming my direction, that's what I lock in on. And I got to have confidence in my quarterback that my quarterback is not going to put me in a position where I'm going to get injured or something like that. So I knew if Joe threw the football, he threw it for a reason and I was open. Now I just got to make the catch. And I was able to do that, man. And then after doing that, to watch John Taylor make that game winner. And I joke around with John about this all the time because if John had made his block when I ran that deep over and I made that catch, I would have scored. I would have scored. But, hey, it was meant for John Taylor not to make that block because if he had made that block, that would have put the ball back in the hands of the Cincinnati Bengals.
They would have had more time. So take me through the game winner that John Taylor catches. The play design on that one, is the intention for Taylor?
Hey, my thing is I have to be a Denzel Washington. It's time for me to win that Oscar right now. I know the ball is not coming to me, but still I got to go through what I got to go through to make the defense think that, you know what, they're going to throw that ball to Jerry right now. And I remember coming across in motion, that defense, it shifted to the left. They thought the ball was going to come to me. John Taylor ran the X post. It was the X post where he go fake like he's going to an out, then he goes to the post. And I remember just looking. I had my popcorn and I was just watching it. And I was like, I saw John make that catch. Then he jumped up in the air and I'm like, wow, we have to lead. So over 92 yards.
For a moment there, you were best supporting actor for John Taylor. The rest of the game, you were the lead. Super Bowl MVP. You win the Super Bowl. And in many ways, you are really starting to cement the beginning of your legacy. This is the end of Bill Walsh's legacy.
Yeah.
What did you know at the time? What did you think at the time? And what does it mean now that you were able to send him out that way?
You know what? It was talk all week long. You know about Bill. This was maybe his last football game. as the coach for the San Francisco 49ers. But I'm like, come on, Bill Walsh is God. Bill is not going anywhere. And I remember him in the locker room when they asked him that, he broke down, he just started crying. I knew that he was done. But I'm talking about a coach that took a chance on me, gave me an opportunity to play the greatest game ever, and also with the greatest team, the San Francisco 49ers. And it was hard for me to see him go, but, to send him out that way, I'm sure it meant the world to him.
You had so many fantastic games throughout your career. Where would you rank this one?
Oh my God, so many games. I don't know. I know it's hard for me to rank games. I mean, because
top 10, top 5.
Oh yeah, top 5.
Yeah, right. It's gotta be.
But my thing is, even during preseason, games meant everything to me. And I know we're talking about the Super Bowl now, but every game meant something to me. And I think that's the reason why I love this so much.
Well, I think in many ways that's why people consider you the greatest. And I was told by a reliable source that just in case we don't know that you're the greatest of all time, we can check. Do you have a tattoo that can verify?
I don't know what you're talking about.
In fact, the GOAT.
Right here, the GOAT.
There it is.
But hey, there's a lot of GOATs out there. I'm not the only GOAT. You're a GOAT, okay? Hey, the frontline workers, during this pandemic, they're GOATs.
No doubt about it.
Greatest of all time.
No doubt about it. Well, listen, Jerry, it was so much fun to look back at the Super Bowl with you. Really, really appreciate the time. And great seeing you. Be well, be safe.
Yeah, you do the same. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.